Good day and welcome to an interview with Zenith Energy and CEO Andrea Cattaneo. It's an update on the solar energy capacity communicated yesterday and also on the entry into biogas, as well as the combination of solar, biogas and gas production, making the company more self-sufficient. Please welcome CEO Andrea Cattaneo.
Good morning.
At Zenith Energy, you haven't had any vacation so far, full speed ahead. So let's get started. Your solar pipeline has now reached 203.5 megawatts, and you've raised the target to 240 megawatts by the year end. So concretely, how much cash do you expect solar to generate in 2027, and when does it become a self-funding business?
So I want just to put first in perspective the achievement we have done. We started with the first acquisition of 0.2 megawatt to be increased to 0.5, the first working solar park we bought in the 5th of April 2025. So now we are 15 months later, and we have achieved a portfolio of 203.5 megawatt, of which the first park is under construction in Puglia, and then soon another second park will start to be constructed. But more important, we have various solar parks in the region of Piedmont that, because of the market and especially the development in this part of Italy, the north of Italy, of the first few data center, and which will permit then to see an appetite for sizable, which we have in Piedmont, producing park that will then supply directly a nearby data center. So this was announced, in fact, in the past months, and so that we have already an MOU for some sales. And but there is a lot of interest, and we have been working very, very hard, as you can see. We have done, I think, a good scouting, not assembling properties that they have a phantomatic long distance realization date, but that can be realized pretty soon. And in fact, in only 15 months, we have made a great advancement. So we have to thank our scouts that they have supplied us with good opportunities made honestly and reasonably. So the appraisal that has been given on the 31st of March was for 54 million euro for a park portfolio, a pipeline, as it's called in our jargon in electricity, from photovoltaic of 173 megawatt. When instead now the portfolio, the pipeline, has reached 203. So this increase brings the value of the portfolio. Likely, we have not asked continuously a new costly expertise opinion from a third party, but likely to be around 64 million euros. So that it shows already a quite sizable increase. And then we can, first of all, consider that we may have a good income from the properties that are under construction that will be in production from December. But there are a variety of factors, like the increase of electricity, of which we will speak in a second. And this increase of electricity, of course, boosts the value of our portfolio. But we can judge from the request that we have from ready-to-be properties, which can be sold in the secondary market. And so make just for the investors a rapid calculation. At the moment, we have a value only from this solar park pipeline of 64 million euro. If we transform the 64 million euro in NOK, the today rate, we will have 703 million NOK. and the number of shares in circulation at the moment is 756,457. So this means that we are in a situation where the value per share of our solar park pipeline is 0.92 NOK, so 92 euro. So this is as well very similar in Scandinavian krone, in Swedish krone. So that is an incredible value made in only 15 months of work. We are progressing with the same commitment and enthusiasm. And indeed, we believe that we will be able to have, as a consequence, a good reach before the end of the year to 240 mega of pipeline, which is the new target. So these things gives how much we have created in these 50 months of value for an investor view that is mainly concentrated in the value of arbitration, of which we will speak later. And this value of arbitration is enhanced by the situation in the country, which we will discuss later on, if you make me the question. And so that is the thing that I wanted to say. More and more, the solar, instead of becoming a paper castle, is becoming a reality castle, blessed as well by the governmental decision to use European funds to give a subsidy for 23 billion euro to our sector.
In July, you announced your entry into biogas. This is with an Italian plant expected to deliver around 2.5 million euro in annual EBITDA. Any news on the progress there, and how large could this division become?
The biogas can become as big as the solar park. Is very sought after by especially German investors that are very keen in the technology of biogas, as they are as well producer of these machines, equipment. And so as a consequence, biogas is very interesting. But I wanted to stress to our investors that we have not made such an investment in biogas just out of the blue, without having thought deeply what we will do with it. The first thing is that people know it's not a big amount, but we make a turnover between 1.5 and 3 million euro in fossil gas produced by our portfolio of gas field in Italy. And so that make us having an experience since 2013 of selling gas. The biogas is absolutely identical to the gas. And so as a consequence, the sale in the slum rate market will permit us to have the same experience and to have the capacity to sell to the same people or new people with the increased production of gas that we have used to sell from fossil field. This biogas instead is a much bigger market because mainly biogas come from sewage and from garbage. Quantity of garbage, as you know, are enormous in Europe, and there is a big political debate on what should be the use of technology and methods to dispose of garbage. But that system, creation biogas, is the most efficient because remain without transportation in the same region or even province where this garbage is produced, and so makes a local economy. And on top of that, we not only get garbage, which will feed our biogas production, but we are paid to take the garbage. So then the business of biogas starts with the profit from taking garbage and then makes additional profit in producing biogas. So 50% of the job selling biogas and the logistics of biogas in Snamorete is well known to us. We have done that for 12 years. 13 years now. And instead, the production in the chemical plant, in the biological biochemistry plant, is something new to us. We are learning, so we are not racing to make a wrong decision. It's more complicated than solar, which is quite basic in terms of technology, but it's certainly a new division of Zenith that will duplicate, we hope, the success of solar.
And now then, with solar, biogas and gas production, the business now stands on its own feet. You're no longer dependent on the arbitration. But speaking about the arbitration, any news you can share with us today?
First of all, I wanted to say that the fact that we don't stand anymore like before, historically, on the success of arbitration doesn't mean, one, that we don't believe to win, and two, that we are not caring as much as before about exceed. We have just finished on the 31st of July to file the first post-hearing scripts of the exceed arbitration, which is the final leg. We will have now a second post-hearing script on the 30th of September. And then there will be just some more exchanges with the court. And then the court will retire to make the sentence for the first part of the 2027. So it's all going to plan. As you know, we have communicated to the market. The hearing in the 20th to 24th of April has been blatantly disastrous with the counterparty. And so we have had a very good outcome from the hearing. The fact that the post-hearing script are not as normal one, but they are two, demonstrate the interest of the court in what has surfaced during the interrogation of the counterparty witness, which has made them very much liable to new criticisms by us and by the court eventually. So we are very pleased. We are going with greater confidence and enthusiasm toward the sentence, and not because we are now stronger in terms of industry. We shall say that we are less interested in the success in the arbitration, which, remember to everybody, there are two. There is still the annulment of the ICC2 with the subsequent ICC2 bis in case, and then there is the conclusion of the exceed. So I will certainly be able to make a new interview in some weeks, maybe one or two already, because of course in Tunisia with the great heat of 50 degrees, which is parallel to the one we have had in Europe, there has been very little political activity, but there have been a lot of protests for lack of electricity, for interruption of services, internet, and various other things. So the situation is quite chaotic, but I will be able to report more in detail in another interview devoted to do that. But just to say that we are very enthusiastic about the ongoing development of the exceed, but nevertheless, is a great fact is that the company has a great value even in the other two pillars, which are the solar, the biogas, not forgetting that we are the largest shareholder of a uranium company listed in Aquis, that is another big avenue of income.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Andrea, for today's update and regularly keeping the market so well informed. And I'm sure everyone is already looking forward for the upcoming updates. Thank you.
Welcome.